How you doing, everybody? Uh, hello, Mr. Perez and Donald and Textrix and Bruce and John Jr. Hey, Gary, Javier and Donald and Underachiever. Hi again. Hey, Paul. Oh, good. Thanks, Donald. I try to get them in pretty good shape. I'm sort of a little disheveled because we were out for a walk and we looked down this sort of down like a hill, and at where the bottom of a driveway was, and there was this guy lying there, and we weren't sure, if he was okay or not. And so we stopped, and I went down there to talk to him, and I forgot my mask had fallen out of my jacket, and so I was, a little hesitant. But we finally figured out that the guy needed help, and my wife had her phone with her and called the paramedics, and they came and helped the guy. Really weird, though. I mean, our normal walk, and so I just got back from a little. And this is my walking watch too. This is I like my Roger Dubuis Easy Diver for a walk, and it's set the bezel and everything. So anyway, like I said, a little disheveled, but otherwise I'm great. Hey, Derek, how you doing? Let's see. Thomas, how are you? Okay. Domenico. Oh, you're from Italy. Great. Gamescom. And Evinji. How are you, Evinji? Yeah, the guy's fine. They had, man, it's weird though. You're just going for your regular walk and then you see a guy. We've lived in this same house for about 21 years. And so it's about a mile to the corner and a mile back. So that's our walk. And he saw this guy. He wasn't, there are a lot of neighbors, when you got a block a mile long, there are a lot of neighbors who and they know you, but you don't know them. It's sort of like a nodding acquaintance. And but we met some more people that we didn't know, and they were coming around. We finally helped the guy. I got he was okay, but it's really weird, for that to happen. So anyway, okie doke. So what's going on? Hopefully the ambulance would not cost them. We have our town has a volunteer ambulance service, and so they come in. I guess we also have a volunteer fire department. we have a well. We're not. I guess that's sort of cool now. Anyway, listen. Where was I doing? Whoa, hang on a second. What I thought we could kick around today, we had started this morning with the attack by the goats. The goats wouldn't attack anybody. The goats would have helped them. The goats would have come and got me if you go get help, and the goats would come and say, help this guy out, Bill. And that's my goats. They're, well, my neighbor's goats. They're really great. Okay, over there in Cali, you could buy an Oris Aquas with an ambulance fee. In Cali, where's Cali? Now we have sort of that kind of place that everybody, we have the most mixed bag of people on our street, and that's what I like. Oh, California, yeah, that's my home state. Okay, no, enough about my walk. I was wearing this earlier today. This is a Rolf Lang. Oh boy, it's got a long name. Calaletto Gray. It's a beautiful watch. See if you can see the back of it. And this is a German watch, and I think its a major influence is Dresden. And even though Glashütte and Dresden aren't too far away, I think they have sort of different characters for their watches. Somebody had mentioned it. Same thing with they had also mentioned Eastern and Western Switzerland, and then this one is from the Netherlands. I got something in my eye. The Christian Vanderklaw. So I think, okay, well, so what else are there? What are some other ones? And when you really look for top watchmakers, no cupcake. Hey, come on now, don't give me a hard time. I hate the cupcake shirt. The guys that the kind of quality watches. I mean, when you look at a watch and you have a really nice movement, especially a hand, something hand done like this. The place that I always go to find out, what's going on in terms of the really talent is to the AHCI. AHCI stands for a French term that I will not mangle, but it's sort of like the Association of the Independent Watchmakers. Now, some of these people who are not Swiss, you may know Jaime Soka. He's one. I probably said his name wrong. Let's see. Now, so you have these guys like Vincent Calabrese, who's Italian, but has been in Switzerland for years. Konstantin Chaikin, I think, is Russian, if I'm not mistaken. Let me see who else is there. And I'm going to say this wrong too. I think Beat Holloman is German. Is that correct? I think so. Anyway, Lin Yong Hu, H-U-A, he's Chinese. Marashiro Kikuno, he's Japanese. And these are all guys who are in the AHCI. Marco Lang is German. Is Christian Kings, is he German? He may be, but he might not be. I don't know. Zhu Ma is another Chinese watchmaker. Let me see. Okay, now some of these guys like Kari Wooten-Lonnen was from Finland originally. There's a guy named Zhe Hua Tan, T-A-N. He had a watch in the Grand Prix, and I was reading about it. I thought, man, this thing is wild. It was sort of like it had a movement, something like the coaxial movement of George Daniels, but it wasn't the same. And so it was, I mean, the guy had, I mean, this movement, I thought, this guy didn't, he's just getting started as a watchmaker guy, doesn't know about the prices. He knows, he does. The watch was $30,000. Well, anyway. But these are some of the guys that I think we could take a look at. Some of the new guys, Stefan Kadoki, he's the guy that he's from Germany, also in Dresden. There's a guy named Daizan Makihara. I think it's Japanese, but I'm not positive. Gul Ming. Ming is Malaysian, I believe. So these are guys these are the guys on the waiting list. Cyril Brevet Nadeau is French. So there's, these are some non-Swiss watchmakers, and there's some, one of the things somebody's asked me about, so, why don't you do something on French brands? And other than Yerma, I don't know that many. Van Cleef and Arpels is, located in Paris, but excuse me, I think their watchmaking operation, well, I do know that Agenor, who made the movement for them, is in Switzerland. So you have a lot of mixes like that. Okay. Let me see. I acquired CWC1 Morgan Classic. Oh, with the SH21, Javier. How do you like it? Yes, Jonsberg Janke. They always have a name that is hard for me to pronounce. How do you like that, Javier? let me see. I hope that the Swiss watchmaking region diversity will be as diverse as Scottish whiskey distilleries. Well, that is, what is that? There's on Avian or something like that. There's a Scottish dial maker that does really nice dials. They also have their own watches now too. Hi, Hans. How about an R.W. Smith for your collection? Any day. I tell you, I'll give you my address and you can send it Monday, or I'll wait till Monday. That would be great. Hi, Eamon. How you doing? Thank you. Big and bold. That's my easy diver. This is for I don't know. I like to wear it on a watch because it has a rubber strap. And so, you know, I can get it. But boy, this is such a good watch. I got to tell you, if you get a chance to get a Roger Dubuis Easy Diver with the RD14 movement, which is one by Roger Dubuis, they're great. I mean, I never liked them for the longest time, and I don't know why. But you know, it's one of those watches that is extremely well built. I was fixing up turning the bezel. That thing is really on there. Picanet, I think, spelled that way. I've heard of them, Tetrix. Yeah, I think I know who you are. Yeah, they are French too. Volker Weisskopf, German. Okay. Joseph, thank you. I have, you know, from now on, you guys, I'm going to have to set something up, a little microphone, so you can pronounce it for me so I don't screw it up. Hi, Mark. How you doing? Picanet. Yes. And their Caliber Royale. Yes, I know that. Yeah, I know of them, but I don't really know too much about it. Okay, love the Morgan. Manual wine with 5-day power. Man, that SAN with the SA21, Javier. Jeez. That's one I'd like to get. I'd like to get two things. If you get one, you got to get a Morgan. And that's the way I look at it. Hi, Tim. Big Bill. Hey, wait a minute. You're from Massachusetts, not me. I'm from Connecticut. Let's say, Luca, how are you? Speaking of Swiss watches, what is your favorite new Rolex model? Same as my old one. Air King with the Bloodhound dial on it. That's my favorite Rolex. But I don't own a Rolex because I always find a watch I like better, so I end up buying it. You know, the other day I had my Daniel Ross on, and I was or mentioned it or something, and people said, "Oh, congratulations on your new watch." And I said, "Gee, I've had that a while, but I never did a little thing on it, and I think I will, a little vest pocket video, because that is another really interesting watch." Even have you heard about Keaton Myrick, independent watchmaker from Oregon? Yeah, I have, and I've seen his stuff, and he looks really good, but he's like really quiet. It doesn't make any noise about it. He's like, I've got one of my sons and grandkids and his wife and everyone. They live in Oregon, and I always think, well, gee, I'll go see him and then go up and see this guy. He lives out in more toward the eastern part of Oregon, more of in a sort of like, I don't know what, it could be in a mountain, part of that mountain range that's up there. Yeah, he does have some interesting watches. Yeah, I know. I'm from California. Woo-hoo. But you know, kids move where they want to move. They don't listen to me. Oh, okay. So let's take a look at what watches do you have that are not Swiss? And I look at mine. I have my Seiko 5 is Japanese. This one, which is on temporary, I have it until Rolf says, "Hey, I need it back," and then I'll send it back to Rolf. I got this one, but it has a Swiss movement in it. It's got an ETA movement, but with the complication by Christian Vanderklaus. So I sort of count it. That's something else we got to talk about. And then I have my Langenheim, and that's it. Everything else is Swiss. And so it's, well, I got my my regulator from China. Love this watch. My $200 perpetual regulator. This watch is just fun to have. If you want to check off the regulator type of watch on your collection, I can recommend that. Either that or a Laurent Ferrier. He makes really good regulators too. What's your view of Hovering to Irwin? Beautiful watch, super watch. I wish I had one. I have the Felix, and but that Irwin is really a nice watch. I've been seeing some other newer ones coming out of there that are just, I mean, everything he does is really good. Hey, Clyde, how you doing? I wanted to try and get a Marco Lang. Marco Lang, let me know it'll be about, ooh, ouch, 60,000 euros. Doggone it. A little out of my budget currently. I have about 18 watches when they are ready. Oh man, I bet it's beautiful too. Yeah, I have my Langenheim it was the 10th Frederick II that they did, and it was one of Marco's Lang. I got it before he left, and they have so many wonderful watches that they still have. He did like what 6 or 7 movements. This is incredible. It really is, and 60,000 euro ring, man. I bet they're going to be really special too. I got to talk to Marco. I got to tell him, say, look, you got a bunch of guys like us that, we can't, we can't pay our mortgage and buy a watch. And I know a lot of us haven't paid our mortgage. So, come on, give us a little, come out with something that, like a $5,000 watch. He coughed, run for your lives. Hey, Crappy, how you doing, man? Oh, Wang and Heine. Oh, come on, Clyde. Oh, how would you classify, Clyde, you've got one too. How would you classify a Van Cleef and Arpels? Now they're, like I said, they're located in Paris. They don't make their own movements. They have somebody else's. Clyde's, I think, correct me if I'm wrong, Clyde got one with a Jaeger-LeCoultre movement, correct? And I don't know, Chanel isn't Swiss. No, oh man, now they're French, but they're like, you'd be surprised what a big conglomerate Chanel is. Chanel, they just made that deal with Chanel and let's see who else was it. Excuse me. There's a lot of leaf mold running around. I got my the Kinissi, Kinissi. Now they're a movement maker, and they made the movement that's in the newest version of the J12. The J12 seems to be a really reasonably priced and good sort of dress sports watch. It looks very sporty, but it's it's a Chanel. Come on, guys, we're gonna go out and we're gonna do something with our Chanels. I don't know why that strikes me as like it's sort of like instead of having a pit bull for a fight, you bring a poodle. They're very smart dogs, I know. Okay, enough of that. It's leave mode. Start packing shovels in the back of the car. Oh, hi, Harry. What's up? Shapiro is a U.S. brand with Urek movement. Yeah. I did a little thing on his and some of the other ones, asking the question: is that when is a watchmaker a watchmaker? And Josh Shapiro is a superb what are those called? A Rose engine. He trained himself. he got a Rose engine and does these really incredible dials with a Rose engine. And then he got the UW, what is it called? UWD 31.1 movement, which in my opinion is almost one of the best movements out there that you can get, short of something handmade or something like this. In fact, it was done by Marco Lang. We had talked about that in terms of doing our own project. Kinnessy is owned by Rolex. Not exactly, old bud. The factory that they're building in Geneva is on land owned. I think it's in Geneva or outside of Geneva. Is owned by Rolex, but I don't think Kinnessy is. I think that they're Tudor owns part and Chanel owns part. But I didn't think they were owned by Rolex. I could be wrong, but I didn't think so. The Chanel JHL would be super attractive if it didn't say Chanel on the dial. Oh, I think it's sort of cool, I think I'm man enough to wear Chanel. Put some right behind here too. I'll wear Chanel number 5 and a J12. I don't know why that cracks me up, but I really like that. They have their they use enamel on them too. I don't know why about that. And the prices aren't that bad. They're very reasonably priced. The problem is if you follow the J12 back, it's been around for a long time. It's much longer than I thought. But it's just I think the 2019 one was when they put in the Kinnessy movement. I forget what they called it. Hi, Andrew. It's a collaboration. Yeah. No tacos this weekend. Taking daughter out tonight for crab legs. Hey, that's cool. That's a neat thing to do. Roar the Tiger. We haven't had that vintage here since '69. Hotel California Eagles. That's would be let me see. That's Dornbeth from Germany, a rather good price-wise. One in-house, not too high horology though. Yeah, I agree with that. I was looking at one today, and no, it wasn't Dornbooth. It was one that starts Lane, Laine. Are you guys familiar with Lane? And they have a Tonus, like a guy named Tonus Lane, I think makes him, and he's a watchmaker of, I guess, some note anyway. And I was looking at one, and it's a 2.5 hertz hand wound, and it sounded a lot like a ETA 6498, which I happen to like a lot. And I don't know if he was influenced by that or not, but some of the other ones I think were the 6498, and maybe he evolved it from that. I don't know. Rolex Foundation is also a major stockholder in Chanel SA. Wouldn't be surprised. They own a number of watch collectors I know too. I've been trying to find a Chayumet Dandy. The open face has an Agenhor movement, not so much luck. Yeah, Donald, that thing is that I saw one. You know where I saw it? There is. Check this out, Donald. There's a Christie's auction going on now, and I think I saw one in that auction. So check out that auction. Hey, Francis. Beside the likes of Roger Smith, who is your opinion is the best watchmaker in the UK for us mere mortals? For mere mortals, yeah, I would say CW is in their SH21. There's another one there that is really, really very good, and they make really beautiful watches, and I think they make their own movements. I forgot the name of it though, and they sort of go way back. In Geneva, 20% owned by Chanel and sharing production space with Tudor. Yeah, that's it, Andrew. That's exactly right. Yes, sure. I don't know what yes, sure is, but I'm agreeing with you, Benji. And the land is indeed, yeah, land is owned by. See, the owner of Chanel SA is Elaine Wertheimer. Okay, sounds French to me. uh, what are your thoughts about yellow gold watches? I love yellow gold watches. I have a number of them. My 21. Well, you mean as opposed to rose gold, reddish gold. There's all and yellow gold. I think my Patek Philippe is yellow gold. The Calatrava and what else? I think my Vacheron Constantin 1972 is also yellow gold. See, I'm trying to think. I tell you, um, I can't tell the difference between white gold, uh, steel, and platinum. When I got my wonderful watch that I just got, the Van Cleef and Arpels Time Here and Time There, I didn't realize it was white gold. And finally I said, oh, it's white gold. I was surprised. And the thing I like about gold is I like the heft in it. Okay. It always has nice heft. I put on tried on a Laurent Ferrier that was made out of steel. I didn't like it at all. It just felt really light. A lot of people like a light watch, and for good reason. But I like it with some heft in it, and so gold and platinum add to that heft. Tortsy Lane's watches, yes, those are the ones I was thinking of, Joseph. And he has a movement. He's the guy with the movement. It's called an L something something. And I was trying to figure out. That's the one I was trying to figure out. It looks a lot like a 6498. I mean, a pretty one, and it runs at 2.5 hertz. So I don't know. Hey, Derek, what's up? Dornberg's finishing is quite good. I agree. They have really nice finishing. The Caliber 2010 is in-house. Could be. Would Harry Winston be classified as American? Well, now that they're owned by Swatch, probably not anymore. That's a good question, though. It's sort of like Ingersoll. Ingersoll is now owned by, I don't know who. It's a Chinese company, but if you go to their head office, it's a place in London. And but then if you go a little further, you find out that their real headquarters are in China. They used to be, when they started, Ingersoll was, not far from where I live here in Connecticut. Let's see. They would be dirty, Harry. Oh, Donald, they would be dirty, Harry. Can I say to a brick of white gold? Yeah. What do you think about the Squally diver? Squally's, the only thing about Squally that bothers me is the name. Otherwise, they're pretty good watches. The thing I like about a gold is that it's anti-magnetic. Good point, Roger. That's a very good point. I didn't know that. Are Arnold and Son a British brand still? Boy, I think so. I think they are. And that to me is a brand that seems to be on the rise. But whether they're still British, I don't know. They started off there. How do you avoid those crazy doorknobs when wearing watches? Mark, I tell you, that sounds, for anybody, Mark, is Mark going to have to go to the corner again? No, that's a very good question. The doorknobs, a lot of people have said that. I think you just have to sort of be careful. But that's a very good question. I knew a guy who said, "Oh, I can't buy good watches. I can't wear them in certain places where there are too many doorknobs. Because man, you hit a doorknob wrong and bam, you can bust a good watch." That's a funny question, though. I mean, funny in the sense that I'd heard people that say, "Oh, I bump into everything," and so me too. Hey, Buckman. What are your thoughts on Carl Suchi and Sun. Is it well priced? Thanks, man. Oh, Slovenia. Hey, Slovenia. I love Slovenia. The Carl Sushi, I was looking at those the other day, and I don't remember much about their movement, but it was an interesting one. I'll take a look at that. BLK Blunkenman, man. Hey, Kai Tai, KK Tai. Arnold & Son owned by Citizen now, are they? Yeah. That's, see, the same with, Arnold & Son is owned by Citizen. Here's another question. You can have, Citizen also owns Frederick Constant. But Frederick Constant stays in Switzerland. They were originally owned, and they may still be working with them, by a Dutch couple. And they wanted to get into watchmaking, so they moved there. They made they have their own movements, and they were bought by Citizen, but Citizen didn't want them to leave Switzerland. So I think the same may be true with Arnold & Son. How does that count? How do we count a watch that's owned by, whomever? That could be owned by Martians, for that matter, and but they're still operating in Switzerland. And if it says Swiss made, I tell you something sort of funny. This one says, let me see what this one has here. Okay, this one has made in Germany on it. Okay, this is the Rolf Lang. On the Marco Lang and Lang and Hein has made in Saxony, which I thought was sort of cool. And let me see what this one's got. They always make it nice and small. This one doesn't say. The ones that F.P. Jorn makes, he never had, his older ones, he didn't have anything on them. And so, they made such a big deal about things being made in Switzerland. So he has, his whole operation is right in Geneva. And so on his watches, he engraved on it, made in Geneva, which I thought was sort of fun. I like the idea of made in Saxony too. I don't know why. It's just sort of like a certain kind of region of Germany. It's probably most famous for watchmaking, with Dresden and Glashütte. Boy, yeah, I know if they're owned by Citizen, that doesn't make them Japanese. Simply means they're owned by Citizen. Let's see, overpriced, but other than interesting looking 6 o'clock second disc. Okay. No, I don't think they're in China, are they, Raj? I don't know. That's a good question, though. Where are they located? Hey, Francis, Citizen Chronomaster, the most accurate watch, true or not? I don't know. I think if you have a lot of watches that are, I would rather have a 2.5 hertz by Marco Lang or F.P. Jorn or Kerry Wood and Lannon that wasn't quite as accurate. Because let's face it, we collect mechanical watches, and a $5 quartz is going to be more accurate than anything we collect. And I think a well-built watch, especially hand-built, I'll tell you my most accurate watch now, and it is 4 hertz, but it is super accurate, is my Harboring 2. And, it's just always just right. The one that I have, my new one, by Van Cleef and Arpels, with the Agenor movement in it, very accurate watch. Hey, Oscar, what's up? I'm taking my first watchmaking classes, and I really enjoy watching you. It's good. Listen, I am the most untalented watchmaker. but I'm pretentious watchmaker. You can join our pretentious watchmaker group, Oscar. You work out on the Seagull ST36s. Those are the best watches to work on because they're based on the ETA 6497 and 6498, and they're nice and big. My first watch that I took apart was a Salida. It was a little Salida, so all of the parts are super tiny, and they're all over my room somewhere because you'll click, and then suddenly they fly, and they go into there's a watch collector's black hole somewhere. Hey, Timidio, how you doing, man? Thoughts on Mule Grashuda? I like them. In fact, I like them better than I realized. I did a video on them, and so you might want to check that video, Timidio. Robert Dreyfus of Rotary Watches are made in China and Switzerland, but received an OBE about 6 years ago. Okay, I know that's quite an honor too. So, there's some others I think who had that honor. Any Scandinavian watches of note? Sure. Sarpaneva, I think that's from Finland. Let's see. From Sweden, Denmark. Isn't what is it? Urban Jurgensen, that's Scandinavian. And now see, this is where we get to another interesting point. Kari Vutenlanen is Scandinavian, but he makes watches in Switzerland. Who else? Sven Andersen is Danish, but his company is now owned by somebody called Sven Andersen something or other. And they're also made in Switzerland. I think a lot of, look at F.P. Journe. He's French, but he's been in Geneva for, 30 years or so now. Most accurate mechanical watches, the Zenith Defy Lab. Well, I tell you, if you want pure mechanical, that's they have the high speed. Hertz in there. It sort of beat them like a rented mule. Things go. The Citizen Chronomaster has a stated accuracy of +1 second per year. So yes, it is. Okay, Joseph. KK Tai, it's a quartz watch. All right. This is the kind of thing that my watches are accurate enough for me. Okay, I'm not coordinating shooting artillery, or I'm not doing anything that requires too much precision. And the more precision you have, you need. If you look for go to a diver shop, for example, and with that real divers, not the desk divers used for watches, all of them are quartz. I don't think you'll see a single, like even a Doxa. A real diver, I don't think would have something like that. They have a whole different mindset for watches. The Call Sushi and Son Waltz #1 uses the Voscher movement. Ooh, that's a nice movement. Let me look at that, Andrew. That does sound something worth looking at. Von Daren is Norwegian, if I'm not mistaken. OBE, others, bloody efforts. Francis, you be nice now. Michael Holzman does bespoke Dutch handmade pieces. Yeah, there is the tradition in the Netherlands. There should be a lot more really excellent watchmakers coming out of there, but I guess they didn't. Christian Vanderklaw has some fabulous watches, and he also makes, what I found out is that he's made award-winning movements for other companies as well. So you have and then the Groenfeld brothers just make fabulous stuff. are up in their price. Yeah, boy, they are really nice. Hey, Plunker, thanks. You like my hat, huh? Okay. What about the last anniversary Omega Speedmaster? That sounds like a nice watch. Accuracy is a lot like horsepower. Any antique car's horsepower numbers pales into comparison to today's offering, but that's not why we like old cars. Good point, Forbin. This is, I guess, I get hauled over the coals occasionally because I'm not a big fan of quartz watches. I mean, there's nothing wrong with them. They're super accurate watches, but the interesting thing to me is how the escapement and the pallet fork and the hairspring and the whole regulator mechanism works in concert. I mean, to me, there's something magic about nothing but the mainspring as the power source and a hairspring as your regulating source. And now quartz watches does it better. Smart watches do. When I used to program, you could program a watch that does everything and tell you who's going to win the World Cup in about 15 minutes. But that's not the interesting aspect of it, of watchmaking. You get an Apple Watch or Android or something like that, and those things are like super accurate. They do more tricks than a horse and pony show, but they're not mechanical watches, and that's why I'm not interested in them. I think the point about why people like older watches, I mean older cars, Forbin's point, they're they're more fun. Hi, NS something. How are you, Hugh? Let's see. 10 minutes over, Bill. Okay, Clive. I got a bolt. Hey, Sock Monkey, I'm sorry. Some of the best watchmakers in history are buried in the same cemetery as Abe Lincoln. Oh, okay. And where would that be? I don't know where they are. Okay, guys, listen, got to run. Tomorrow, we have a watch review is coming up. This is I think it's the biggest collection I've ever reviewed, and there is something for everyone, and I hope anyway. And so I think you might find it interesting. And I got some almost near rants coming up with a couple of the best pocket things. I got some rants and some 3-watch reviews I think you're gonna like too. So I'm having more fun than I should. Anyway, take care, guys, and thank you all for dropping by. And everybody stay safe, and hope to see you next time.